What's up, you YouTubers? It is me, Henry, coming to you today with a deck profile on Zing's. Now, this is actually a really good synchro deck, in my opinion, if you put it together correctly. Now, it's not linear, which I really like, because I'm really getting tired of those linear decks. And, I'll get right into it. I have some choices of mine that I'll explain, and some other things, and some things I'm thinking of putting in. And I'll get right into it. So to start off, of course, you have your 3 Chi-Wen. Now, this is the main synchro of the deck, or the Zing synchro, and in my opinion, the synchro that I use the most. It's a level 1 light. When it's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon one Zing monster from your deck except Chi-Wen of the light. And when a Zing is destroyed on your side of the field, you can special summon this card from the grave. Unfortunately, you can only activate the effect of one Chi-Wen, Light of the Zing, once per turn. So you can't get the when he's destroyed effect and the special summon from the grave effect in one turn. Next, 3 Suani, I believe, Fire the Zing. It gives your synchro monsters 500 attack. It's a good 1900 attack monster, and it's a fire. I mainly use this card. I'll almost always use for my higher level synchros, but you don't always have to. And when I say higher level synchros, I mean like 6, 7, 8, and 10, because those are my high level synchros. 3 Bian, Earth of the Zing. This card is also I use a lot for my higher level synchros, like the 8s, pretty much the 8s and the 10. And then I also use it for the 5s and the 4s. And yeah, the 5s and the 4s. It makes your synchro monster immune to monster effects. And it's a 1600 attack monster, level 3. It has the one destroyed effect. It's really good. You will almost always use this. Earth and Fire you will use most of the time to pull out your higher leveled synchros. 1 Bixie, Water the Zing. It has the it's a destroyed effect, and when it's synchro summoned, when it's used as a synchro material, the synchro monster is immune to traps, so that's good if your opponent has a lot of back row and you want to just go in with a monster. Just attack monster unaffected by traps. Level 2, you can actually use this to pull out Leo and some other level 8s and 7s. I've done it before, and it's really effective. I went this, Chiwa, and Chiwa and Fire to make Black Rose, to ensure that my Black Rose didn't get solemned or anything, which was good. And only 2 Bixie, 2 Puleo, I believe, Wind of the Zing. Level 1, when it has the one destroyed effect, and when it's special summoned, hold on, this once per turn during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using only Zing monsters you control. So your opponent's main phase or battle phase pretty much sync on their turn, which is really good. Say your opponent wants to attack your weaker monster, but you have enough to make a synchro material monster. You sync, and they can't get over that monster. It's really good when in times of need. 2 Max Chameleon. It's really good. The only downside is its effect doesn't go off if you have level 5 or higher, and you can't use the extra deck to turn to use its effect. But it's a nice 1600 attack monster, which I really like, and I've actually used him as an attack and as a beater before. And then 1 Junk Synchron, just to make those level 5 synchros or level 1 synchros, or level 5 or level 4 synchros faster by using a level 2 or a level 1. So it works pretty well in this deck. I've never actually pulled it out yet. What? No, that's not true. I've used it once. That's it for monsters. Only 16 monsters. On to spells. 3 Zing Path. Don't see why you wouldn't run it at 3. It's your main draw card and recycles your Zings, because you will go through your Zings a lot. 2 Thunder Crash, just to destroy your Zings and get their effects off. You do inflict 300 for each monster. 2 Pot of Duality, just to hopefully get a monster if you're not drawing any. 2 MST for back row, and 1 Soul Charge just to bring monsters back, and Dark Hole again, destroy your monsters, but also their monsters. So yeah, 11 spells onto traps. There's 13. 3 creation. I don't see why you wouldn't run 3. Creation is like this. Creation is amazing in this deck. If your opponent does not shut down creation, you will pretty much be able to synchro every turn. What it does is, once per turn, when a Zing monster is destroyed, special summon one Zing monster from your deck. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, except synchro monsters. So yeah. It's really good. 1 Call of the Haunted, because I didn't have space for 2, and 1 sufficient. It's come in handy plenty of times. It's actually putting in a lot of work. 2 Breakthrough, because I felt negating monster effects was needed. It's come in handy facing Lightsworn. I actually beat Lightsworn because my opponent was stupid enough. He used JD's effect 3 times in 1 turn, so that took him down to 200 defense. So, it took him down to 200 defense, and the next turn I pulled out, what was it? I pulled out Scrap Dragon with 3,300 attack, destroyed it, and I just won from there. It was pretty funny how my opponent just gave up the win by not thinking how to use his JD effectively. Continuing on, let's see. But yeah, Breakthrough saves you because the Lightsworn player was using Lila, and he tried to destroy this, and I Breakthrough saving the creation, so I was able to stall his JD out, or so I was able to stall my opponent out, and pretty much he killed himself with his JD because of it. 1 Solemn Warning because it's Solemn Warning, Compulse because it's Compulse, Bottomless because it's Bottomless, Torrential because it gets your monster's effects off, and it's Torrential, and then Skill Drain because it's pretty much like a continuous breakthrough skill, and it doesn't affect you really unless your synchro monsters are on the field, but it never really affects you because all your Zings go off in the grave. I am thinking, however, of putting in Kaiser Coliseum because I don't want my opponent over swarming me. I just don't know what I'd take out yet. I'm still debating. Onto the extra deck. 2 Baxia. You can, when this card is synchro summoned, you can target cards on the field up to the number of different type of original attributes. Shuffle them into the deck. Once per turn, you can target 1 card you control. Destroy that. Special summon a Zing from your graveyard. Level 4, is it a level 4 lower? Yeah, well, they're all level 4 lower. So special summon level 4 lower monster in your graveyard. Destroy that card on the field. And if you, so it's not just a Zing, it's any level 4 lower. Wow, that's actually really good. So yeah, 2 Baxia. I never really see the need for 3 because you'll never go into 3. Underworld Fighter because it's good for stalls. Same with Samsara, Dragon of Rebirth. It's a good stall card. It actually can save games because you can target your player's graveyard, special summon a monster from either player's graveyard. So that's why this card's really good. Catastor because it's Catastor. Armades. I love boosting Armades up to 2,800 by using fire and Chiwa, right? Chi-Wen. By using Chi-Wen and fire, it just goes up to 28. They can't activate anything, and it's just OP as heck. 1 Goyo, because it's limited, and it's Goyo. Why wouldn't you use it? You can get up to 3,300 using fire. HTS Psyhemoth, because after damage calculation, after this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster. Also banish this card. It's really good getting over problematic monsters. Black Rose, because it nukes the field. There's an Ancient Sacred Wyvern OTK, which is really good. You can attack with 2,800 beater, and then this card gains, if they don't have any counters and you're attacking directly, attack for 28. This card gains 28, so it's now at 4,900. Attack with this card, that's game with 2 synchro monsters. That's why I like it. It's a level 7. So if you can make a level 7 and you don't want to go into Black Rose, you can always make Ancient Sacred Wyvern. Stardust, because it stops your field from being blown up. Scrap Dragon, because it's Diamond Dire in synchro form. Only, I think it's a little better, because it doesn't have to be Beast or any of that. But the downside is that it's a level 8, so it takes more to pull out. Crimson Blader to stop those high-level decks. Leo, because it's Leo. Great card. And then Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, because once per turn during your main phase, you can destroy all other face attack position monsters on the field. And it's just great. Say they have like a whole huge field, drop Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, nuke their field, attack for 3k directly. Devastating late game. Side deck, 1 MST, 2 Needle Sealing, Maxi. I'm not really going to explain the side deck just because it's my preference on what I usually see. Kaiku, 3 Debunk, 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, 1 Curse Seal Forbidden Spell, and 2 Wiretap. That's it. Now a little discussion. I am thinking of putting in the Kaisers like I mentioned earlier. A lot of people say that this deck requires too much on your opponent in order for it to go off correctly. I think that's not true if you run the right cards in your deck, like Dark Hole, Torrential, and the Thunder Crash. These cards all speed the deck up a ton. This is why I recommend Dark Hole and Torrential are already staples in the deck. But this is also why I recommend Thunder Crash as a staple for the deck. Because it now allows you not to only depend on your opponent to destroy your monsters. Now, when I mention Needle Sealing, you guys are probably thinking, well, Needle Sealing does the same thing if there's 4 more monsters on the field. Why don't you main Needle Sealing? I don't main Needle Sealing primarily because of space. You could argue I could take out the Breakthrough because I have the Skill Drain. Excuse me. But I like having the Breakthrough in case I don't have the Skill Drain. Plus, the Skill Drain can't get MST'd, so I won't really use the Skill Drain. So I won't really not get the Breakthrough won't really get negated, unlike Skill Drain if they just MST it. So that's why I don't want to take out Breakthrough. You could take out a Call of the Haunted and something else, but Call of the Haunted has been coming in really clutch late for me lately, like late games. And so yeah. But I do recommend maining Thunder Crash and making it a staple because it allows you to take that one step further into making this deck more competitive because you don't really rely on your opponent to get your deck in motion. And almost every time you're facing a Swarm deck, you can throw in the Needle Sealings and then just speeds the deck up even faster, making it able to swarm as well, since you're destroying probably your Yang Zings and then getting more monsters. And if you have Creation, you can either get 2 or 3 or 4, which I've done before, and it's just insane. You just swarm your opponent immediately while they lose all their monsters. It's just perfect. Well, that's it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you like it. I'm out. Peace!